For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Focus program. Nice to see you. The month of February is rolling along. Lots of information today about babies, something different we haven't talked about for a while. We got two segments. The first segment with the past grand night of the Knights of Columbus in Marine City in Algonac. And then Sherry Archibold will be joining us from the CAN Council, the Child Abuse and Neglect Council of St. Clair County. So interesting stuff about young people. Let's begin with Dan Levue. Nice to see you. Welcome to the Focus Show, sir.
My honor.
You are a past grand night of the Knights of Columbus.
I am.
That's a big job.
Well, it was, but we had many hands help, so it was light work.
Lots of things have happened to the Knights of Columbus in Marine City over the last year or two. Can you sort of bring the audience up to date on what's happening and where you guys are? And,
oh, certainly.
You got rid of the building that everybody knew on Range Road.
Yeah, we were
on King Road.
King Road, right. Yeah, we had built that hall back when there weren't too many places to hold a wedding.
Right.
And there were large families. And we built a large hall and had audiences or groups rent that hall twice a week, every week except Christmas and Easter.
Years and years. Hundreds and hundreds of weddings.
Yes, and it supported the school very well. But the families got smaller, the weddings less frequent, and financially it wasn't really profitable for us. We were amateurs at running it, and you needed somebody that with a good business head to diversify, if you will, and hopefully we wish them well.
You did a wonderful job in that, and remodeling it over the years and adding to it, and it was a wonderful hall.
It was, and it had a very efficient kitchen. We held a monthly breakfast there for about 10 years. It started under when I was Grand Knight, some of the fellows come up with an idea and we put it together, and that sustained us really for a few years. We were able to still support our community with the hall, and but it was best that we sell it and move on.
Things change.
You bet. And we're all about charity, and we concentrate more there than ever before now because we're not encumbered. So
when you first left the building, I think you went over to the Lions Club.
We did.
And then now you've combined. Tell me that part of the story.
Yeah, there were two parishes adjoining one another. There was the St. Catherine's Parish, and there was Holy Cross, and then there was a very small parish, if you will. It didn't have a pastor, but
St. Mark's
on the island, and of course we're losing all those priests that came into their vocations after World War II, and now they're retiring, and so they clustered us together. And when they did that, we could better serve that cluster by being combined. So we combined our councils, and we retained the original number from the Marine City Council, and that was 856, because we were the 856th council to be formed in the Knights of Columbus, and that was done I think prior to the World War II, or World War I, excuse me. We were over 100 years old. We're about 110 or so now.
Marvelous.
Yeah, and continuous. That council supported the Catholic school on site and still does, and that's one of the few surviving private schools for 1 through 8.
Right.
The high school was turned into a regional Catholic high school. So technically it's not the parish's concern anymore, but it certainly serves ours as well as St. Clair and others in the by carrying it. There's been a lot of changes, but they've been, I hope to think or sense that it's been at the guidance of the Holy Spirit.
Right. Well, you're here today to bring us up to date about an event that you're supporting and going to have. It's called Breakfast for Babies, Sunday, February 20th, which is right around the corner, from 8:30 till noon at the Holy Cross Activity Center. Everybody's familiar with that because of your wonderful fall dinners there.
Well, good.
But talk to me about this event.
Well, okay, yeah, and if there is anybody that's unfamiliar with it, come on down to 610 South Water Street. It's on the corner of the church is on the corner of Water Street and Bridge.
Right.
And the Activity Center main entrance is off the Bridge Street. But this will be the second or third one that we've hosted, not for Breakfast for Babies, but we've learned how to do the cooking. It was quite a change from the old hall where things were pretty routine. But we think we have our act together. We want to have it this Breakfast for Babies program started down in Macomb and at one of our brother councils. They had a great deal of success. Yeah, and so they hosted a free will or free donation breakfast, free breakfast and please donate. And so we piggybacked off them. They've been supporting the Macomb Right to Life organizations. Now we're going to do that, and in particular support Spiro, because that's our it's really something we at St. Clair should be very proud of.
Jennifer McDonald's been in here many times, the executive director of Spiro, and it's up on Griswold Street, I think.
Yeah, it is.
And they do wonderful services.
They sure do. And now the Knights of Columbus, not our council, I think we may have contributed a bit, but only when we were solicited. But the Knights, and I think the Columbian Squires were involved as well, they actually collected the funds to buy the latest ultrasound system there.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and
that's not cheap.
It isn't. It wasn't. But Knights of Columbus has the state, or not state, but the national organization will match funds. So if we raise half, they'll match.
Good.
It is.
Great.
And so we've Knights of Columbus, along with Focus on the Family, have been supplying ultrasounds all over the nation. Right now, there's more pregnancy support centers than there are abortion clinics. So, and that's because of the efforts of us and our Protestant or non-Catholic brothers.
So, it's a free will donation, or you can bring baby items. I like that part of it. 100% of the donations help moms and babies in conjunction with Spiro, as you said. But people can bring diapers, wipes, baby toiletries, infant car seats. I like that one. Baby clothes, strollers, children's books up to age 5. Lots of everything.
Yeah, you bet.
Toys, small, easy to sanitize, such as rattles. I like that. Stuffed animals with tags. Sizes 4 to 12-inch, suitable for newborns. Bouncy seats. I like that. Pack and play. Oh, those are
they're great.
Yeah, the pack and play. And portable high chairs. So lots of stuff if you want to clean out the garage. Your kids are gone and you still saved the stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a good place to bring it.
If it's gently used and in good shape, I guess they can use it. And when I visited the Spiro Clinic up there, and they have a room that when they open it up, you would think you were in Babies R Us boutique. Clothes are hung on racks by size, and it really is an upbeat place to see. If they have an open house, you should please do consider going. They've been in business since 1986. In 2005, they became very professional with their services and their ultrasounds. Yeah. They have a professional staff. They've performed about 360 ultrasounds last year, and with the latest equipment that they now have, when you see an image, it no longer is it something where the nurse has got to tell you what you're looking at. You are looking at a baby.
Isn't that marvelous?
Yeah, it
absolutely,
is.
my technology.
Yeah, you would think that
great.
baby was in front of you instead of it still in the womb.
Beautiful.
But it is, they say over 70%, I think it was in their abuse was 78, I think was the number, percent of the women that see that image reconsider and have the child.
Wonderful.
So it's
Well,
a lifesaver.
People can support Breakfast for Babies is the project, Sunday, February the 20th at the Holy Cross or Our Lady on the River Parish Holy Cross Activity Center from 8:30 till noon.
Now, this isn't just a pancake breakfast. We pride ourselves. We'll have on the menu, of course, pancakes, but eggs, sausage, potatoes.
You're making me hungry.
Oh yeah, and while they last, sausage, biscuits and gravy, real orange juice, no lemon, none of the.
You're gonna squeeze it.
Well, we'll get it out of a bottle,
Right.
but it isn't going to be Kool-Aid.
Right.
You know, along with, of course, coffee and.
Well, that's a wonderful project.
It is, yeah. And as I say, we've held a breakfast for 10 years and had it down to a science, but moving it over to the other facilities, learning process.
Something new.
Yeah, well, we've done it twice, so.
Dan Levine, Levere, nice to have had you come in. I appreciate your time, and the project is Breakfast for Babies, and it's worthwhile supporting. So that's February the 20th, so right around the corner, 8:30 till noon at the Holy Cross Activity Center. As I mentioned, Sherry Archibold will be along to talk about the CAN Council, which is the Child Abuse and Neglect Council, in just a second.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Top of the show, we mentioned that today's whole show is about babies and about children and the wonderful things that we should be talking about during the cold month of February. Joining me now is Sherry Archibold, the world famous Sherry Archibold. Welcome back to the Focus Set.
Thank you, Paul.
Been a while since you've been on, and we need to get you on because you've got some great things that are happening, and you've got a fundraiser coming up that's fun.
We do. There have been a lot of changes since the last time I've been on your show.
Let's talk about that.
So we've expanded the agency quite a bit, and we'll just kind of recap. The Child Abuse and Neglect Council provides prevention education to every elementary, middle, and high school in St. Clair County. So we are
Elementary, middle, and
all of
high
them.
school.
We are doing prevention education, teaching the children how to keep themselves safe.
Yep.
So that first and foremost, if we can prevent child abuse, that is definitely what we want to do. Right. But on the flip side of that, and the unfortunate circumstances where we can't, we have a child advocacy center in our office, and we provide forensic interviewing of alleged child sexual and severe physical abuse victims.
Difficult stuff.
Very difficult, but we do that in our office in a child-friendly setting under what we call a multidisciplinary team, which is we bring together the prosecutor, law enforcement, CPS, and our office, and we interview the child in front of everyone, so the child only has to tell their story one time.
Yeah,
so therefore,
I like that.
not that further traumatization of having to tell over and over and over again. We want them to tell the story one time, one and done. That's all they have to do. Everybody has all the information.
So who's in that meeting again?
The prosecuting attorney.
Okay.
And law enforcement and Child Protective Services, along with our office, is all
Wow.
in that meeting, so that we can watch that interview. Everyone can discuss the case, what's going to happen, what are the next steps, and we can move forward with it together in the best interest of the family and the child.
Is the child in front of that group, or is it a window thing? And
It used to be a window, and we just renovated our office in January, and we now live stream. So the child is in a room alone with the interviewer.
Okay.
And everyone else is in another room watching that interview
Okay.
on a big screen TV.
Well, can the people watching the prosecutor and the rest of them, can they ask questions of the child through the interpreter?
They can't ask the child directly, but they definitely ask our interviewer. So they will let our interviewer know if there's anything they want them to ask further, if they want her to dive in deeper on a certain subject, maybe revisit something, and they will tell the interviewer, and she will then ask the child.
We've all watched television shows that have that scene where the poor child is just abused by the courts, and it's terrible to watch and terrible to experience. Has to be traumatic for the children.
It is. It's very traumatic. It's hard on the staff as well, and the whole team that has to watch and listen. I would say we interview roughly 220 children a year right here in St. Clair County, and we know that is not even close to how many victims are really out there. And about 95% of those are sexual abuse victims. So I think that's something. We see the physical abuse. We know what's happening. Sexual abuse is very, very different. Often the children don't want to tell. We don't know what's going on. And that's when that forensic interview comes into play, when you sit down and ask open-ended questions to the child, getting them to tell the story.
Tough stuff. I mean, we read about it in the newspaper years after it happens. And the child has all that traumatic memory up until the court time, don't they?
Well, actually, it stays with them for a lifetime. And
okay.
You know, I talked about some growth. That's one of the things we're most proud of, is recognizing some gaps in our community in care after the fact. So we have launched several new programs within our organization. First and foremost, we hired a mental health therapist. She is a trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapist working directly with children. And so she specializes in that one-on-one with children who have suffered trauma, and how to teach them to overcome that trauma, how to go on and live a productive life, and to get past that. Because most times they don't want to tell.
Yeah, right.
And as you said, it comes out years later.
They're embarrassed.
Right. And so years later, you find out, and they have buried this deep inside. We've witnessed young girls who, as a result, have started self-mutilation, cutting, those types of things. So we now have a therapist on site, and it's going really, really well. That we're able to connect that child directly with a therapist immediately. They don't have to wait months to get in to see someone else. They don't have to tell their story again, because our therapist has watched that interview. She already knows what has happened. So she's able to jump right into that therapy session and start working with them immediately. Then we also launched a program called Teen Empowerment Yoga. And it's very interesting. I happened to go to a session one time and heard about a national renowned program called Healing Childhood Sexual Abuse Through Yoga. And I personally thought to myself,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Right.
How's yoga going to fix this, right?
Right.
I was amazed at what I'd learned and what I had heard, and not having come from a background like that or suffered that kind of trauma, I didn't understand the disconnect of the mind and the body after a sexual abuse trauma. And so listening to that, I decided that was something that I wanted to bring to the organization. And we launched that this past fall. And we had our first group of teen girls go through our Teen Empowerment Yoga. Part of that is they meet with the therapist, they do some journaling, and so they reflect on what has happened to them and writing their stories and how they're feeling each week that they come to the yoga class. And then we have an actual yoga instructor who has been now trained in this particular program and is doing yoga with them. And the idea there is to reconnect that mind-body, to teach them the breathing techniques, the coping skills. And it was very successful, and we're excited about launching a second one in the spring.
Pretty cool. How big is your staff?
7 people.
Wow, and you do lots of that. All those interviews and the yoga, wow, that's really, really.
We're a very small organization, operating on a small budget, most of which is fundraised. And so we're very proud of what we do and how much we're able to provide to the family and the children with such a small staff. But it is something that we're all very, very passionate about, and no child should ever have to go through what these children go through.
The educator that goes from elementary to middle school to high school happens to be a resident of this area.
She does. Lindsay Chop is our prevention educator. She's been with the organization longer than any of us now.
Oh, really?
She has. She's been there 13 years. And she does all of the prevention education in the community, be the schools, within businesses, to parent groups.
Wow.
She goes all over the community providing prevention education. She does other things like mandated reporter training, safe sleep, never shake a baby, all of those types of things as well. But mostly she spends her time, she spends a lot of her time though in the classrooms. And then, post-COVID, we no longer provide prevention education in a group setting in the gymnasium. She goes into every single classroom individually. So she's very, very busy.
Yes.
But it is very beneficial. I can tell you 9 out of 10 times when Lindsay talks to a classroom, when she's done, a child comes up to her after and discloses that something has happened to them.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
You can.
I mean, that's the question.
That's exactly it. And then she says, you can. You let's go aside where no one can hear. She takes them over and talks to them, connects them to the counselor.
Wonderful.
And typically we can set up an interview immediately that day, and we can walk through that. So we may not have prevented it with that child, but we just stopped it.
Right.
So either way, being in that school is so important.
Cool
and we're
stuff.
fortunate that we have a county and school districts that really support this. We offer it free of charge, so it's just a matter of getting us in front of the classroom.
Let's talk about raising money for you.
Raising money, always the hard thing.
April the 7th, you've got something coming up. Talk to me about it.
We do. So we have an annual Dinner for Kids' Sake. And
Dinner for Kids' Sake.
Dinner for Kids' Sake. And in 2020, of course, we had it all planned out and we were ready to go. And
little thing called COVID came along.
And so we have not had one since. So we are very excited to announce that we are going to host our Dinner for Kids' Sake, barring anything changing from this point till April.
Right.
And we are having that April 7th. It is Thursday night at the Blue Water Convention Center.
Oh, that'll be good.
6 o'clock.
Good place, good
we'll
food.
have all the precautionary safety measures in place and masks there for those who want them. Sanitizer, all the things that,
Blankies,
to keep
whatever you
everybody
want.
safe. Instead of a buffet dinner, we'll have a plated meal where not everyone is touching everything.
Yep.
But the dinner is one of our largest fundraisers, but what I like to call our biggest friend-raiser. So we make our money off of the auction, the raffles, and that type of thing, not off the ticket price. So your ticket price gets you in the door. It covers the venue, the food,
venue.
Nothing else.
Okay.
We want as many people to be there as possible, regardless of whether or not we make money.
Okay.
And it's an opportunity for us to get in front of a large group of people, tell our story, talk about what we do, talk about the children, talk about prevention, and really get that message out there and get them to help us spread that message throughout the year as well.
Well, there's a little prize involved. What's that all about?
There is. So 3 years ago, I guess now, when we held our dinner, Denim and Diamonds, we raffled off a 1-carat diamond.
A diamond,
You
wow.
had an opportunity to purchase a diamond. So this year, it's not a diamond. I should have saved that for my final one. But we are actually auctioning off a private catered rooftop party.
A rooftop party.
A rooftop party.
In St. Clair County.
In downtown Port Huron on top of the Ballantyne building.
Okay.
Larry Jones's building.
He's remodeled that.
He has done a fabulous job. And for those who have never been up on top of that roof, it is amazing. It's an amazing view.
The view has to be spectacular.
It is spectacular. So I reached out to Larry and Tracy and talked to them 2 years ago about this, and we've kind of resurrected this. The theme is Summer Nights. So this year, the dinner is called Summer Nights at Last, because at last we can host the dinner.
Right.
And they will be able to purchase an opportunity to win a catered party for 30 people on the rooftop.
Wow.
And they can have it in the summer, anytime but the week of Boat Week.
Yeah, right. So you can have your own private party catered for 30 people on the roof just by buying a ticket.
Yes, and so we will be supplying all of the catering, all of the beverages. So they will have an open bar. They will have the appetizers or
like
a
quite a
meal,
deal.
depending on whatever they want.
Yeah.
And they have a 4-hour window, and they can invite 30 people to the rooftop.
Wonderful.
They don't have to have 30. Their budget will go, they can have fancier food if they do 20. But
2 people and eat a lot more.
Yeah, there you go. But the idea was that we reached out to several of the people, talked to the staff, and said, what would people want to win? What would appeal to you? And one of the things that
Something different.
is something different. And the other thing that we've noticed in this community, philanthropy is huge.
Yeah.
But it hasn't quite reached the younger generations.
Correct.
So our goal was, how do we bring in that next round of that next generation of givers.
Yep.
And so we reached out to the younger crowd and said, what would appeal to you? And that came up.
Pictures of the building now on the screen, and also the view is coming up here. There's Larry with looking towards the river, I would imagine.
I believe that was Larry when he first opened up the rooftop and he was showing it off to the Times-Herald.
Yeah.
So we wanted to show some pictures of that view and of what the rooftop looked like, so people would have a feel of what it was
Pretty
that
unique.
they would win.
What a great way to have a birthday
Very
party or an
unique.
anniversary or something along those lines.
Just a special night, or a,
Is it a buying ticket or is it a bidding thing?
It is a buy a ticket.
Okay.
So we have scratch off tickets, and you have to win the key that opens the door to the rooftop.
Oh, I like that.
So we got a little
wonderful.
creative with that, and want to have some fun along
Yeah.
the way, right?
Yeah.
We spend about an hour of entertainment before we start our actual program. We like to get people in and out quickly, but we want them to come and have a good time. As I said, it's a fundraiser. We really want to show people a good time, have them keep coming back, and so we're gonna have a little game.
One of your other events over the year is with a young girl by the name of Deb Johnson, I think is her name, and she climbs a ladder and gets on a roof
She
with
does.
a fire guy or a policeman and a prosecutor, and they raise some funds for you too, don't they?
They do. So we have three fundraisers.
called a roof set.
The community roof set for kids. That's held in September, and Deb Johnson is our board chair.
Right.
And so she's always been wonderful at helping with all of our fundraisers, and definitely spending a day on top of the roof, raising funds. And then she puts on a golf outing in July as well that raises funds for the organization.
Good chairman of your committee.
She is a wonderful board president, yes.
So how else can the public help you? We can go to the fundraisers. We can come to the roof set, fundraiser, and but the other part of it probably is just calling you and reporting things or reaching out to you.
It is. There's actually a hotline for reporting, but
Okay, good.
but our big thing is if you see something, say something.
Okay.
All calls are anonymous. You can call our office. We can direct you. If you're not sure, you can call CPS. It's just the stigma of I don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
What if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin someone's life. We completely understand all of that. But it's all anonymous. There's a full investigation before they ever even know. So it'll stop long before it gets to the point of ruining somebody's life if it isn't really anything serious. So we just ask people to make that phone call, report that, call our office at 810-966-9911. We can direct you to wherever you go. We can tell you. 966-9911.
Wow, well, that's an easy number.
It is an easy number, and we'll be able to talk to them and walk them through whether or not we feel they really should make that call and make that report. But so that's what we ask for. Aside from that, protect your children, talk to your children, teach your children that it's okay to say no, what to watch out for, that
important stuff.
have to tell.
Really
right?
important.
Make them comfortable in speaking to you and telling you, something happened that didn't make me feel right or that made me uncomfortable. So we're really looking for getting the public more involved in talking to children every day so that they can have that happy childhood they deserve.
April 7th, dinner tickets, dinner for the kids. How do I get those again?
Dinner tickets can be purchased on our website or on our Facebook page at sccstopchildabuse.org.
SCC
Stopchildabuse.org.
Okay.
So, yep,
Very good.
sccstopchildabuse.org. If you go there's a link right there to the registration page, and you can register to attend the dinner. I would love to get everybody out. Again, we'll do everything in our power to keep everybody safe and healthy. But we're really looking forward to getting out and seeing everyone again and behaving normally, I guess.
Yeah. Sherry, you do wonderful work. Congratulate you and your crew of 7 to cover the county like you do and save all the children you do. It's important.
It is very important, and we certainly hope we can save more and more every year.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.